Let me paint you a familiar picture. You're scrolling on YouTube and decide to click a Skyrim video. You sit through it, and 10 minutes later, all you can think about is playing Skyrim. You are filled to the core with nostalgia-soaked memories of a vast Nordic land filled with excitement and the promise for adventure. Your hands are shaking as you launch the game. You press new and... small bug. This kind of thing never happens in Bethesda games, so whatever. Let's try again. You finally get through that intro cutscene after restarting. Run for your life from the dragon. Creep through the Helgen cave. You're almost there. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. You emerge from the cave and... oh, yeah. What was it that I even wanted to do? You walk around for a few moments, pick a few flowers, you kill the bandits that are down there that you always kill. You get attacked by a wolf, you kill it. Then another. You look up at Bleak Falls Barrow and realize that you do not want to clear that damn dungeon ever again and log off. Congratulations! You just participated in the yearly Skyrim humiliation ritual. Come back tomorrow, and we might even throw in clearing Embershard Mine for the 12,000th time. Let's take a step back though. Rewind all the way back to the character creator and freeze. What if I told you that you were approaching this all wrong? What if I told you that even though you've done everything in this game 100 times, you'd be willing to do it all again? What if I told you that Skyrim isn't boring? It's just you. We have all been exploring the world of Skyrim for years. I mean, I think I was in 5th grade when this game came out. I've been playing it for so long that I actually remember when the Draugr in Bleak Falls Barrow terrified me. I assume that, like me, most of you know this game front to back. Every quest has been completed, every dungeon explored, and hundreds of Nazeems have been slain. There is no stone left unturned. But the Elder Scrolls effect still takes hold of you like any other. So let's talk about how you can get back into this game. First and foremost, my first piece of advice for getting back into Skyrim. In order to make it through another playthrough of this game, you need to scrub your memory of the way that you personally play and know Skyrim. Forget your favorite guild, forget being a stealth archer, forget your favorite armor and which side of the war you support. The first thing you need to do to enjoy Skyrim again is to stop playing like you. We humans are creatures of habit. We do something, we like that thing, and then we try to replicate that thing over and over again until it is no longer possible. Sometimes we just continue doing it anyway after that and get incredibly depressed until we find a new thing, but that's besides the point. Think about Skyrim as if you were playing a new game. When you play a new game for the first time, part of the experience is discovering its mechanics, its physics, what it allows you to do and what it does not allow you to do. You do things like jump off of cliffs just to see if you take fall damage. You learn the game as though it were a new language. Eventually, you get proficient with it. You speak the language super well, and using it is a breeze. Until eventually it gets repetitive and you choose to move on to something new. That final stage is where you are with Skyrim. So, when making a new game, this time try to speak the language differently. Now, you can't forget the words, per se. You'll always remember what happens at the end of each quest lines and what rewards are awaiting you there. But you can approach the game as if that stuff didn't exist. Whenever you realize that you're working towards something you know about from a different playthrough, stop what you're doing. Whenever you're metagaming by power leveling and getting your favorite armor, stop. It may seem counterintuitive, but by seeking these things out, you're unintentionally spoiling the experience for yourself. Instead, approach things as if you were new. This is when my second piece of advice works its way in. Slow down everything. Now that you're approaching things differently and not rushing a particular quest line, you might feel a little lost and like you don't really know what to do. Good. That's exactly how you'd feel if you just started playing Skyrim for the first time. So, how do you get moving and make this playthrough interesting? Well, just kinda look at things more. Take a walk around Riverwood and listen to the river and people's conversations. See if there's any quests or rumors around town that you haven't heard before, since you're always sprinting towards Whiterun and the next objective. Check the stores around town and see if there's a specific item you want to start working towards, like a new pair of shoes or something. Do this everywhere you go. Follow the main story up to Whiterun and do the same thing there, and only participate in things that actually interest you. And when you're doing this, just try to put the things that you want to do off for a little bit. If you're looking forward to playing the Dark Brotherhood, for example, don't just go to Windhelm and start the quest. Just stay in Whiterun for now. Do some mercenary work. Eventually, you'll hear the rumor about Aventus Arantino at an inn, and you can head over there and start the quest organically. You'll be surprised about how much you've missed or simply forgotten about this game over the years once you start doing this. Playing a game like Skyrim with a streamlined goal in mind is kind of like going on a super long road trip without stopping anywhere on the way. By the time you get there, you'll have missed plenty of interesting things. You'll be bored. You won't really want to be there anyway, and on top of everything, your ass just kinda hurts, so stop and smell the flowers. Next time you explore a dungeon that you know like the back of your hand, just try and stop and look at every item on each table, each book on the shelf. Plenty of items and books in Skyrim lead to interesting side quests that you'll never have found by just sprinting past everything. Another strategy to help with this is, try to limit fast traveling. Again, there's no rush to get places when you're playing a video game. You don't need to turn the quests in right away, and the whole experience just kind of feels like a big checklist when played that way. So instead, buy a horse or strap on some moccasins and hit the road. Skyrim's world is genuinely beautiful, so when there's no interesting locations to explore, just look around and appreciate the scenery. When I first stopped playing with fast travel, I felt like I was playing an entirely new game. Not only will you start to approach quests entirely differently, you'll also start planning for long adventures and seeing things that you've never seen before. Skyrim's map is filled with locations not attached to any quests, as well as locations with no map marker at all. I was incredibly surprised when I started encountering things that I had never seen before, and had to double check that I didn't have any mods adding things I was unaware of. One of the biggest surprises was this huge Nordic ruin tucked away in the south of the map. The location is beautiful, has multiple vistas, a dragon word, and I don't think I had ever found this location until last year when I was meaning to use the path south of the throat of the world and accidentally just wandered here instead. So give it a try and see what new places you find. Okay, so things are looking pretty good so far. You're playing the game without a major goal in mind, you're slowing down and appreciating things that you don't normally notice, and you're even trying not to fast travel everywhere. Here comes the third and fourth tips. First, play this game like an RPG, and second, ask why constantly. Let's break that down. Now, obviously, Skyrim is an RPG game, so ask yourself, do you even play it like one? And no, a game having perk points and different armor options doesn't make it an RPG, so sit down, Assassin's Creed, you're doing it wrong. RPG means role-playing game. So pick a role and play it. You can make this an incredibly deep, well thought out thing, or just do it simple and surface level, and you'll still have a great time. Let me explain. One of the easiest and simplest ways to get into role playing is to just be yourself. Only do things that you would actually do. Meaning, only choose dialogue options that you'd actually say, only do quests that you would actually participate in. Don't just do things because they're in front of you and in the video game. Think about them, make up your mind about them, and then act. Now, this works fairly well, but can get boring pretty fast when you realize that you're limited and can't do crazier stuff like join the Dark Brotherhood. Well, at least I hope it means you can't join the Dark Brotherhood, jeez. So if that doesn't work for you, let's take it a step further. So, instead of doing what you'd do, make a few choices about the personality of your new character before you start the playthrough. Ask yourself a few questions about the morality of the character. Would they be willing to do something evil to help themselves? Would they be willing to do something evil if it led to what they believed was a better outcome overall? Or would they refuse to do anything evil no matter the circumstance? Think about what their goals are. What should you be working towards in this playthrough? Even simple things should matter and be thought about. Would your character like everyone to see them walking around in the drippiest clothes Skyrim has to offer, or would they be caught dead before putting on a pair of tight pants? Do they have any fears or preferences? For example, I once did a playthrough where my main character was claustrophobic. He refused to get loot out of incredibly tight spaces or explore certain tight areas. This limitation expanded the gameplay because it was something unique to always think about when traveling. You can do the opposite of this as well. You can have a character that loves certain things, like loves exploring dwarven ruins, and they don't like exploring Nordic ruins as much. Just think of random things to spice up your gameplay a bit. You can even put this kind of thinking into action before you leave Helgen. Now, I'm going to guess that a lot of you have your minds made up about the Civil War, and tend to just go with Hadvar or Ralof depending on whether or not you support the Imperials or Stormcloaks respectively. Don't do that. Even if you might end up siding with the Imperials in the end, ask yourself why your character would go with Hadvar. I mean, he was just going to have you executed. Maybe your character trusts and respects the law and the Empire already, so choosing Hadvar was a no-brainer for them. Or maybe your character doesn't trust that authority and chooses Ralof for safety and is only swayed over to the Imperial side later after learning more about the war. Make even the tiniest, unimpactful choices matter, and your gameplay will become much more interesting. Now, moving back a moment, let's remember that fourth tip. Ask why constantly. Now that you understand your character's psyche a bit, try to think about everything from their eyes by asking why. Why are you doing this quest? What goal or reward do they have in mind when doing it? Are they just doing it out of the goodness of their own heart or for some ulterior motive? Why are you using the weapon you're using? Is your character used to using weapons like that, or does it feel a bit awkward in their hands? Do they like the other people that they're talking to? Do they like the guild that they're in? Are they happy about their position in the guild? And why, and why, and why, so on. By asking why, you've created an environment where suddenly you now have reasons for doing the things you love in Skyrim. You're not doing the Thieves Guild because you just want the Nightingale armor. That's stale and boring. You're doing it because your character's a thief. They were in Riften by happenchance and accepted Brynjolf's job without knowing about the guild at large. Your character's doing it because they want money, they want to be on Maven Blackbriar's good side, and they just like Delvin and Vex and want to spend more time around them. Try to create an environment where you can actually understand your character, who they are and what they want to do with their life. Fantastic! You now have what you need to get out there and enjoy Skyrim again like it's a whole new game. But before you go, I thought I'd mention the elephant in the room. Mods. Skyrim is the most modded game of all time. Because of this, there are countless new experiences to be had and mechanics to be enjoyed. If your PC can handle some mods, don't be afraid to sprinkle a few in there, and people on consoles have no excuse. Modding is super easy on Xbox, and although severely limited on PlayStation, it's still simple enough to install what is available. I personally use a lot of mods, which is pretty obvious if you've been watching this video at all. But my favorite mods, and the ones I'll recommend to you now, are any that focused on the 4 main tips I talked about today. Survival mods, for example, do a lot to slow you down and make you think through the eyes of your character. My personal choices for survival are Last Seed for Needs, Frostfall, Hunterborn, and Dirt and Blood. These mods work incredibly well together and transform what is your little guy on the screen into what feels like an actual living person. Another simple mod to think about trying is Alternate Start, Live Another Life. I actually can't remember a time in my life playing Skyrim without using this mod. That's how long I've had it for. Basically, it allows you to start off your game in a variety of interesting positions. You'll have a realistic reason for being in those positions and a varying amount of loot depending on what position you choose. If you're sick and tired of doing the same old thing in Skyrim and just can't find enjoyment, I bet this mod can save you. If you're thinking about using it, I recommend trying out the Shipwrecked option. You'll start your game off the coast of Dawnstar, and if you play with the survival mods I mentioned, then you'll have an incredibly unique survival experience right at the start of the game. You won't be able to make it south without freezing to death, so you'll need to explore around the city of Dawnstar itself, craft warmer gear, and eventually make a trip south. Alright, I think that wraps up just about everything I have to say. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you get back into Skyrim. Let me know how your experiences go down in the comments below. And if you're having trouble coming up with a good character idea, feel free to ask me in the comments as well. I really enjoy writing new stories and experimenting with new ideas, so I'd love to help. For now, I have been Sir Schmib. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Until next time.